Have you ever wondered if that guy in your life likes you, but he's just too scared to say it? You're not alone. Many women find themselves in this situation, trying to decipher the subtle signs that a man is interested, but hesitant to express his feelings. In this video, we'll reveal 9 little things guys do when they're attracted to you, but afraid to admit it. These aren't obvious flirting techniques. Instead, we're focusing on the small, often overlooked behaviors that betray a man's hidden feelings. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge to spot these subtle cues, giving you valuable insight into his true emotions. Whether you're dealing with a shy coworker, a longtime friend, or someone you've just met, understanding these signs can help you navigate the complex world of unspoken attraction. 1. He becomes your social media shadow. When a guy likes you but is scared to admit it, his behavior on social media can be very telling. He might not be bold enough to interact directly with your posts, but he's likely keeping a close eye on your online activity. You might notice that he's always one of the first to view your Instagram stories or Snapchat updates. He may not necessarily like or comment on your posts, but he's consistently present in your viewers list. This behavior stems from his desire to stay connected with you and know what's happening in your life, even if he's too nervous to engage directly. Additionally, you might catch him liking older posts of yours, sometimes from months or even years ago. This often happens late at night when he's scrolling through your profile, unable to resist the temptation to learn more about you. If you notice a sudden flurry of notifications from him at odd hours, it's a strong indication that you're on his mind. 2. He finds excuses for physical proximity. A guy who's attracted to you but scared to admit it will often manufacture reasons to be physically close to you. This isn't about overt touching or invasion of personal space, but rather subtle maneuvers to reduce the physical distance between you. In group settings, you might notice that he gravitates towards your location. He might choose the seat next to you in a meeting, or position himself near you at social gatherings. These aren't coincidences. They're unconscious efforts to be in your proximity. You might also find that he creates situations that necessitate closeness. For example, he might ask to see something on your phone, requiring him to lean in close to you. Or he might offer to help you with a task that brings him into your personal space. These little moments of closeness are his way of satisfying his desire for connection without having to verbally express his feelings. 3. He becomes a master of the accidental text. In the digital age, texting has become a primary form of communication, and a guy who likes you but is scared to admit it might use this medium in peculiar ways. One common behavior is the accidental text. He might send you messages that seem like they were meant for someone else, only to follow up with an "oops, sorry, wrong person." This is often a thinly veiled attempt to initiate conversation with you without the pressure of directly reaching out. It gives him an excuse to talk to you while maintaining plausible deniability about his intentions. Another variation of this is the pocket dial, or pocket text. He might call you and quickly hang up, or send a string of random characters claiming his phone was unlocked in his pocket. While these things do happen genuinely, if they occur frequently with the same person, it's likely not a coincidence. It's his subconscious, or sometimes conscious mind, finding ways to connect with you without risking outright rejection. 4. He becomes hyper-aware of his appearance around you. When a guy is attracted to you but afraid to admit it, you might notice a sudden increase in his attention to his appearance, particularly when he knows he'll be seeing you. This goes beyond just dressing nicely. It's about a noticeable shift in his grooming habits and self-presentation when you're around. You might observe that he always seems to have a fresh haircut when you meet. Perhaps he starts wearing cologne more often, or you notice he's sporting new clothes or accessories. These changes are his way of trying to impress you without explicitly saying so. Moreover, you might catch him adjusting his appearance when he thinks you're not looking. He might run his hand through his hair, straighten his shirt, or check his reflection in a nearby surface. These unconscious behaviors betray his desire to look his best for you, even if he's not ready to verbalize his feelings. 5. He becomes your biggest, secret cheerleader. A guy who likes you but is scared to admit it often becomes your silent supporter. He'll celebrate your achievements and support your goals, but in a way that doesn't draw too much attention to his feelings. You might notice that he remembers important events in your life, like a big presentation at work or a personal milestone. He might casually ask how these events went, genuinely interested in your success, but trying not to appear too invested. In group settings, he might be quick to agree with your ideas, or back you up in discussions. However, he'll do this in a way that doesn't stand out too much, afraid of revealing the depth of his support, and, by extension, his feelings for you. You might also find that he goes out of his way to help you with tasks or projects, offering his assistance in a casual manner. This is his way of contributing to your success and happiness without overtly expressing his feelings. 6. He exhibits nervous behaviors in your presence. When a guy likes you but is afraid to admit it, his body often betrays his nerves when he's around you. These nervous behaviors are unconscious physical manifestations of his internal emotional state. You might notice that he fidgets more when talking to you. He might play with his phone, twirl a pen, or adjust his clothing more frequently than usual. These actions are often an attempt to dispel nervous energy and appear calm and collected. His speech patterns might also change in your presence. He might talk faster than usual, stumble over his words, or laugh nervously at things that aren't particularly funny. These are all signs that your presence is affecting him on a deep level, even if he's trying to play it cool. You might also observe that he has trouble maintaining eye contact with you. He might look at you intently when you're not watching, but quickly avert his gaze when you meet his eyes. This push-pull behavior is a classic sign of attraction mixed with fear of rejection. 7. He becomes overly attentive to your relationships. A guy who likes you but is scared to admit it often becomes intensely curious about your relationship status and your interactions with other men. However, he'll try to gather this information indirectly to avoid revealing his own interest. You might notice that he pays close attention when you mention other guys, even if he tries to appear casual about it. He might ask subtle questions about your male friends or coworkers, trying to gauge if there's any romantic interest there. If you're in a group setting, he might watch closely how you interact with other men. You might catch him glancing your way when you're talking to another guy, attempting to read the situation. He might also bring up the topic of relationships in general, asking about your type or your views on dating. These conversations are his way of fishing for information about your availability and preferences without directly asking if you're interested in him. 8. He tries to impress you with his knowledge and skills. When a guy likes you but is scared to admit it, he often tries to showcase his best qualities in subtle ways. This isn't about bragging or showing off, but rather about highlighting his strengths in hopes of catching your attention. You might notice that he brings up topics he knows you're interested in, demonstrating his knowledge in these areas. If you've mentioned loving a particular book or movie, he might casually bring it up in conversation, sharing his own insights. He might also find ways to demonstrate his skills around you. If he's good at a particular sport or hobby, he might invite you to watch him participate or casually mention his achievements in that area. This is his way of trying to appear impressive in your eyes without directly saying, "Look at me." In group settings, you might notice that he puts extra effort into his contributions when you're around. He might share more ideas in meetings or take on more responsibilities in group projects. This increased performance is often an unconscious attempt to stand out in your eyes. 9. He reacts strongly to your physical touch. Even if a guy is scared to admit he likes you, his body will often react instinctively to your physical touch, betraying his hidden feelings. These reactions are usually subtle but noticeable if you're paying attention. You might observe that he tenses up momentarily when you casually touch his arm or shoulder. This isn't a sign of discomfort, but rather his body's way of processing the sudden, pleasant sensation of your touch. Alternatively, you might notice that he lingers a bit longer than necessary when you hug or when your hands touch while exchanging objects. These prolonged moments of contact are his subconscious attempt to extend the physical connection between you. His pupils might dilate when you're physically close, a physiological response to attraction that he can't control. You might also notice that he mirrors your physical movements when you're near, an unconscious behavior that indicates a desire for connection. If you recognize these behaviors in someone you're interested in, it might give you the confidence to take the initiative in expressing your own feelings. Sometimes knowing that the attraction is mutual can help overcome the fear of rejection that might be holding him back. Remember, though, that genuine relationships are built on open communication. While these subtle signs can be fun to spot and can give you hints about someone's feelings, they shouldn't replace honest dialogue. If you're interested in someone who's displaying these behaviors, consider creating a safe, pressure-free environment where he might feel more comfortable expressing his feelings directly. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.